85 years ago in China, the connector would make a grave error. This error would dictate the events that would happen in the future. This error caused his friend to betray him, with his reason being, and I quote, "It is a friend's duty to correct his friend's errors." However, he would ultimately fail to do this, and this error will be the reason the connector is ultimately defeated and loses his godhood. In this video, I'm going to explain why this event is important, Shen Wulong choosing to clone himself, and why that is the source of his downfall. But before we get into that, don't forget to like and sub if you like these types of videos. But without wasting any time, let's get on with the video. Shen Wulong's decision to go against the natural order, aka cloning himself, may be the very foundation of the Kengan verse itself, because without it, we don't have characters like Togita Oma or even Ryuki. Furthermore, it has a lot more drastic changes as Mukaku never has his vendetta against Shen Wulong. And so, no Nikos are ever created, and the Nico style just probably never exists. And so this moment in the Kengan timeline may be the most important event ever. But how does this event actually contribute to the fall of the connector or Shen Wulong? Well, to answer that question, there is another question that I first want to ask, and was actually the question that kickstarted this whole theory. Why is it that Gaio Mukaku was able to survive against the connector more than 2 times? This question may not seem that important, but it is actually key to understanding everything and what Mukaku's father might have been referring to when it came to the natural order. See, Gaio Mukaku isn't particularly powerful. In fact, he's not strong enough to have survived even his first encounter with Shen Wulong. Even though, to his credit, he was powerful, he simply was not powerful enough to be able to survive. And even accounting for his tenacity and his willingness to throw people under the bus, this still could not be enough to survive against the connector. Tenacity alone did not really help Ryuki much when he got knocked out by Koga. But furthermore, it shouldn't be that great of a variable against Shen Wulong. And so I suspected a third variable. One that doesn't necessarily make sense on its own, but works together with Mukaku's character. And that is the fact that Gaio Mukaku was more than likely Shen Wulong's nemesis. The nemesis concept is one that was introduced into the story in chapter 100, which is a milestone chapter, meaning it's an important chapter basically. And in this chapter, it is actually the fight between Gerada and Boy M, or the clone of Masaki. In this chapter, we get to hear or see the life of Gerada, how he was powerful and talented and way too powerful, but in his loneliness managed to find Boy M, or Masaki, and knew that one day he would be his nemesis. In the Kengan vs. Purgatory fight, the build-up to this destiny, Gerada is way stronger than Masaki the clone. Masaki stands no chance against Gerada otherwise. However, everything about that match seemed to be in Masaki's favor. All the stars seem to have aligned for Masaki to be able to win, Masaki's genetics, the rules of the Kengan tournament, Jiraiya's vow to not use anything other than judo. These things seem to be the perfect ground for Masaki to overcome Jiraiya. And if you think about the destined nature of this fight, it may have actually been that Jiraiya, despite all of his strength, was destined to lose against Masaki. Masaki may have actually been destined to defeat Jiraiya in that match. And so that's the power of the nemesis. However, how does Mukaku fit into all of this? Well, because of the connector's decision to clone himself, the consequences of that, or one of the consequences of that, was Gaio Mukaku. By breaking the natural order, it made Mukaku who he ultimately was. A man who was thirsty for revenge and would stop at nothing to get it. And because he is the consequence of Shen Wulong's own actions, Shen Wulong himself could never really truly get rid of Mukaku. In fact, the reason Mukaku even dies in the hands of Shen Wulong is because Mukaku chooses to let go of Ryuki. It is that act or that decision by Mukaku, a decision that he knew would probably lead to his death, that allowed Shen Wulong to be able to kill Gaio Mukaku. And so, the point I'm trying to make here is that not anyone can defeat Shen Wulong. The person to defeat Shen Wulong must be his nemesis, who, no matter how powerful or how weak they are, will be able to overcome the connector because of the natural order. It's sort of like causality or fate. It is destined to happen because of a prior decision. But who best fits the title of Nemesis? And there is actually only one character that fits this bill the best. And that is Shen Lohan. One of the reasons that Shen Lohan wants to overthrow the connector, at least when he was talking to Oma, he said the following: he's something else in human form, he doesn't deserve to live. And we see the phrase he doesn't deserve to live a lot from Lohan when he's referring to Shen Wulong. What he means by this is something I'll save for another day. But what's important is realizing that he is everything Gaio Mukaku's father warned Shen Wulong about. He is a clone of Shen Wulong. He wants to usurp him, and even though Shen Wulong is aware of this, he isn't taking Lohan himself seriously. And this seems to be a pattern when this topic is brought up, as when Mukaku's father tried telling him about this era, Shen Wulong just didn't get it. And so, Lohan will more than likely be the person to take down Shen Wulong. Or if it isn't him, the nemesis will eventually rise from the connector's errors. Everything wrong with the connector and his decision to clone himself is represented in Shen Lohan. And so that is why I think he is the best fit for the nemesis. But yeah, that's the theory. The nemesis might end up actually being the true weakness or downfall of the connector. And that's really my biggest theory on Shen Wulong and his character. And hopefully you like that theory. Tell me your thoughts on the theory itself, whether you think it's good or you think it doesn't really hold up. But yeah, until next time, don't forget to like and sub and take it easy.